Okay, the first word before we discuss end behavior that we need to talk about is degree. What does that mean? What is the degree of your polynomial? What am I asking for there? The highest what? Exponent. So I'm going to look at, or I'm asking, when I ask for degree, I'm asking for you to state the highest exponent. Okay? So you're going to look for that highest exponent. When you look at that, that's going to be a number. And numbers fall into two categories. They are either even or they are odd. Okay? So when I ask you for the highest exponent, you're really, when I go to graph it, going to look to see if it is an even number or an odd number. Okay? So that's what you're looking for. So you can identify the degree because you found the highest exponent, and then can you identify it and tell me if it's an even number, 2, 4, 6, 8, or an odd number, 1, 3, 5, 7, etc. Okay? The next definition that we need to know is what's called a leading coefficient. Oops, can't see it. Okay, what's the word leading mean? In front. So it's the first. So leading, what is in front? Okay, and what does anybody know what coefficient means? Okay, so this means it's the leading number. So it's the number that's in front of your highest exponent term. Okay, after this I'm going to put LC because throughout the notes I'm going to abbreviate that LC. I'm not writing out leading coefficient each time. Okay, so just so you know. So it's the number in front of variable with highest exponent. That's the definition of a leading coefficient. Okay, now, just like degree, all I care about is it even or odd? With leading coefficient, we're going to have two choices here. We can have any number that anybody wants to put on the paper, but all I care about is if it is positive or is it negative. And those are the two things that concern you because that is going to predict what your end behavior does. Okay? And so when you did that activity on Monday, it said, was the degrees even or odd? You had to circle, and then the first page said positive, the next page said negative, the next page said positive, the next page said negative for a reason. Questions on those two definitions? Okay. You can divide your paper if you want. You can just write it down, whatever makes sense. But basically, I'm going to take the rest of my page here, and I'm going to divide it in fourths. And why fourths? Because you have four choices. Okay? Okay, if you think about that, I can have an even number with a positive leading term. I can have an odd number with a positive leading term. I can have an even number with a negative, or I can have an odd number with a negative. Those are the only four choices that I have possible. So we're going to put each choice in each box. Okay? So we're going to start here, and we're going to start with our degree. And we're going to start with an even degree. And we're going to make our leading coefficient positive. Okay, does anybody remember what happened at your ends of your graph when you had an even degree and positive? They were both going up. And you should all know this, because if I had the problem y equals, we'll just do a simple one, x squared. What's the degree of this problem? 2. And is it positive or negative? Positive. And we already know what this graph as. It graphs as a parabola with both of our arrows ending up. Okay? So use previous knowledge that you already know. Now we're not going to do so many simple ones like that anymore. But, so this is going to end, our end behavior will be up and up. I'm always going to put the left side and then the right side just like you would be reading. So up and up. Okay? I'm going to put a graphic example there. And basically, all I need to know is that my two graphs have to finish both going up. What happens here in the middle, I don't care about right now. Okay? We'll get to it, but I don't care. Okay? All I'm caring about right now is my ends. So this graph could go like this. It could go like the one I put on the board. Okay? All of these are examples. Okay? If I give you a picture and the ends are going up, you need to associate with that as having an even degree and the coefficient is positive. Always, no matter what type of graph. Now, as you move forward, and somebody told me they saw this yesterday on their ACT, and maybe you were one of those people also, maybe you were one that didn't, I don't know. Okay, as you move forward in math, they write it differently. So they don't use the words up and up. They write it in mathematic notation. Okay, so what that means is they have an X, and this arrow means approach. So as X approaches negative infinity. So what is that saying? That's saying as you go to the left side of your graph, okay, as X goes to the left, because negatives would be on the left side of your graph, which way is the Y going? Is it going up, right? It's going up. The arrow's going up, correct? So that would be defined as Y approaches. What values go up, positive or negative ones? So this would be positive infinity. That's how that gets written. And you read it as X approaches negative infinity. So X goes to the left, your Y goes to infinity. So Y is going up. So they change the words left and right. This means left. This means up. Okay? They take words out of it. Math is notorious for symbols. If you went through geometry, you should know that. So as X approaches infinity, what's that saying? As X goes to the right, which way is your graph going? Up or down? Up. So I'm going to say Y goes to infinity. And when I wrote that, some of you kind of like, yeah, I did see that on my ACT yesterday. So some of you maybe had a question similar to that. Some of you might not. For Math Excel purposes, the questions that you'll have this week, you'll be able to clarify them as just up and up, or up and down, or down and down, or down and up, or something like that. Okay, not this mathematical terminology, but you need to be familiar with that. Okay, we'll come up tomorrow. Okay, so the next one, if my degree is even, so we'll stick with both of them being even, but my leading coefficient is negative. So let's think about what I know already. if I have a function that looks like that, okay? We know that this is a quadratic because we already studied things that were squared, okay? That's an even value, right? What did this negative after the equal sign tell you your parabola did? It went down. It opened down. So on this case, if we have even and we have negative, that means that your graph is going to go down and down. So both the left side is going to go down and the right side is going to go down. And so you can put your graph here. And again, as long as I end up down and down, I don't care what the middle looks like for now. So I can go something like that if I want. Looks like an M to me. Okay? You could graph just a quadratic, just an upside down parabola. That's an example here also. Okay? And so the way mathematically M behavior is written would be as x approaches negative infinity. So as x goes to the left, that is what that's saying, your y value is going which direction? Up or down? It's going down, so this would be y would approach negative infinity. As x approaches, this needs to be written down. As x approaches positive infinity, so as x is going to the right, which way is my arrow going for my y values? Down. So this is negative infinity again. When you think of even numbers, you think of groups of two, right? Most people do. What happens to both of those? They're degree even. The arrows go the same direction. So if it's even, the arrows are both either going to go up or if it's or down, depending on whether it being positive or being negative. Questions on those two cases? There's only 4. Okay. Good to have good notes here because you're going to be referencing them a lot until, well, some of you will memorize this, I'm sure. Okay, so what other types of degrees can we have? Odd. So we're going to have an odd degree with your leading coefficient being positive. So if we have an odd degree function, so if we have a function that's either first degree, third degree, fifth degree, seventh degree, ninth degree, and it is positive, does anybody remember how those go? Okay, that is correct. So they go in opposite directions, and this would be down on the left, up on the right. So when I go to graph this, and this is going to be true whenever we start graphing these more, okay, I know that it has to start down and it has to end up. I know that just by knowing that I have an odd degree and the leading term being positive. The middle part is whatever you choose right now. Okay? So if you want to kind of make it look like maybe like a snake, that's what I'll do. Something like that. And Ms. Fisher, do you need me? Okay. Is blue marker okay? Okay. See if you can write your M behavior. Okay, so as x approaches negative infinity, so as x goes to the left, that's all it's saying in words, where's your y going? Is it going up or is it going down? It's going up or down. If I come over here to the left, it's going down. So this would be negative infinity. As x approaches positive infinity, so as x goes to the right, so as you move your finger to the right, which way is that arrow going? Up. So that would be positive infinity. So instead of using the words left and right, they use positive and negative infinity. Instead of using the words up and down, they use the words positive and negative infinity. Okay, so our last one. What's our last case here? Degree is odd, and leading coefficient is negative. Yes. So it's going to be up on the left, down on the right. So again, as long as on the left side you are going up and on the right side you're going down, I don't care what you make the rest of your graph look like. Okay? But you just have to start by going up and end by going down. Okay. So as x approaches negative infinity, so in other words, as x goes to the left, is your y going up or down? So as on the left side, which way did my arrow go? Up, so that's infinity.
I'm confused on this part.
Okay? Let me finish writing this down and then I'll go over it, okay? Say it differently. As x approaches infinity, so in other words, as x goes to the right, this arrow is going down, so that is, down is positive numbers or negative numbers? So that'd be negative infinity. Okay, so what you need to think about is I'm replacing, I'll actually write them in here. This, when you have x, x is your horizontal axis. X goes to the left and to the right, correct? Okay, so all I'm doing is instead of putting the word left here, I'm writing that as those are negative numbers that go to the left, okay? And numbers that go to the right are positive numbers. So instead of putting the word left and right there, I'm representing it with a mathematical symbol, which would be infinity, negative infinity and positive infinity, okay? On the other side of that, what's going on? Well, your graph either goes up or down. Those are your only two choices, okay? If something goes up, those are positive numbers. If something goes down, those are negative numbers. So instead of writing my words up and down here, I'm using those same symbols again to say positive infinity and negative infinity.
I'm just confused on the
The x and y is just because when we graph something, we go our x direction and then we go our y direction. So if you think about an ordered pair is always x and then y. So that's why your x comes first. So we're going left or right first, and then we're going up or down. Okay? You won't see this a whole lot for our purpose right now. I'm fine if you describe it as up and down, but that in standardized tests, you will see that. And a lot of you will be taking air testing again in April. That's the type of thing that you'll see there again. Okay? Okay, so we're going to do 6 examples. Figure out where to put 6 examples on your page. Don't, okay, so question number 1. You'll have 3 steps per question. Well, at least three. So a minimum of 3 steps. So the first thing that you have to always be able to identify is the degree of this problem. So what is the degree of this problem? 4. Now, we should know whether that's even or odd. Which is it? It's even, okay? So if you want to put that word there, you can. If you already know it in your head and you know you're not going to miss that, then don't worry about that. Okay, then I'm going to put LC, which is my leading coefficient. So my leading coefficient is the value that's with the x to the 4th, okay? And all I care about is it positive or is it negative? So what is this? Is this positive or negative? So we're going to write the word negative down. If you don't want to, because sometimes on Math Excel, it won't ask you positive or negative. It will say, what is the leading term? So the actual leading term is negative 10. We know that it's negative because of the negative sign there. So you kind of get, okay. The last one is end behavior. Some people said they want to abbreviate that. That's fine if you want to put it in your notes as EB. Okay, so all I want you to do, if I have an even degree and my leading term is negative, reference one of the 4 choices. Okay, which direction is it going to go? Down and down. That's all we're looking at today. So it would go down and down. Question number 2. Y equals x cubed plus 2. What is the degree here? 3. Is that an even or odd? That's odd. Okay. What is your leading coefficient? 1, which is positive or negative? It's positive. So I'll put a 1 and I'll put positive by it. Okay, so if we have an odd degree and it's positive, what does our end behavior have to do? So you're looking at your table here, odd and positive. Which one is it? Down, up. Okay, number 3. You always catch it. Okay, so what do I have to do first to this problem? This references last week. What do I have to do? Put it in standard form. So if you want to write it in standard form, you can do that first. Like if you haven't wrote the question down, you could write it in standard form first. So what is this function in standard form going to be?
Negative 8x
Keep going.
minus 4x plus 3x plus 10.
Very good. And then I'm going to put degree. What is the degree? 4. So that is even. What is your leading term?
Negative 8.
Negative 8, so that is negative. And so your end behavior, what's that? Down, down. Do we agree? So in essence, because the next step is we're going to start putting the middle pieces into that. What that tells you when you go to start graph it is that I have to end with both my arrows going down. Okay? And then we'll slowly add the pieces to put the rest of this middle section together. Okay, so question 4. If you want to wait till I write it down and then write it in your notebook in standard form, you can. What's standard form of this function? 14x squared plus 6. Okay, Rika, what's the degree? What's the leading term? Okay. So 2 is even, 14 is positive. So if we're even and positive, which direction do our ends have to go? Up and up. Okay, I'm going to put 5 and 6 on there. You guys go ahead and complete those on your own, and then I'll have somebody come up here and put them on the board. Did I get you on that one? Number 5.
Oh, no.
Anybody volunteering to come to do one of them?
Whenever it's odd, your arrows will go in opposite directions. You're just gonna decide yours first. Whenever they're even. Guessed.
First test was the easiest. The rest just science club fucking tree. And more reading and more reading.
Okay. So this one, we can break this one. This is correct, but these are
and just pick up any color.
They want to do 6? Want to do 6? So Rico's going to do 5, and then you'll do 6.
Do I need to grab one of these?
Yep, anyone you want.
What's up?
It's because your hand touched me. So, it's okay.
Ooh. Oh my god.
It runs so big.
Do you have to write it in standard form?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so let's look what we have. Rico, how do you write this equation in standard form? It's going to be y equals, okay. Okay, so degree is 5. The leading term is a -5, which means negative. So degree 5 and negative is going to be a up, down. Do we agree? Yes. 6, standard form. You didn't have to combine anything, but it is 6x cubed minus 3x minus 1. Degree is 3. Leading term is positive. It's a positive 6. And so the end behavior is, do we agree, is down, up? Yes? Yes? Okay. Then you're good?